If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I'm in search to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? All the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your host with the most, your Snap DJ, and it is Fantastic Four season in Marvel Snap. It started today, just about a few minutes ago, actually, here today for me. And I did open got up the cards. I opened my Snap Pack. Of course, got Herbie and a bunch of lousy boosters. But I did get, of course, Mr. Fantastic and Herbie. So no playing with them yet. In fact, I'm probably not going to be able to do much playing at all today because, and I've mentioned this, I am going to the premiere of Superman. First time I've ever seen a superhero movie, a premiere of a superhero movie before it hits theaters, and I'm quite excited. I have read a bunch of reviews, not critical reviews, they're not out yet, but this is just fan stuff. But it is, I shared them all on Twitter, and I'm very excited by the reviews that I've read. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it looks like people are enjoying it. And I'm gonna, I really have good vibes for this, and I think it's going to be very, very good. So, I mean, this is just some of them. I can just start off the show here with a little bit. This is now these are all people who they're not the movie critics, but they're people who they're YouTubers. They do videos on movies and things like that. So. They're not the people from Rotten Tomatoes. That doesn't come out until probably tomorrow, I think. But this is just what some of them were saying. So this is Brandon Davis. Superman is a triumph for the DC Universe. It's a comic book brought to beautiful live-action life, brimming with hope and fulfillment. It actually elicited tears of joy from me. It's a Superman for everyone. David Cornsweet was born for Superman and Clark Kent. Loved it. This one's from Dan Casey. Superman was maybe my most anticipated movie of the year, and it really blew me away. James Gunn and his amazing cast and crew really got to the heart of what makes a good Superman story for me. It's hopeful, even when things seem hopeless. I hope everyone else digs it too. This one is from Andre Saint Albin. Superman is a soaring triumph. This superhero epic wastes no time in diving into action in a meta-human world. Cornsweet's Superman is punk rock, and Nicholas's Lex is his electric opposite. Gunn's vibrant palette dazzles with orbs, robots, and monsters. Engineer and Ultraman shine. Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy steal scenes. This movie redefines Superman. Catch it in IMAX or the biggest screen possible. This one's from Austin Medeiros. Wow, David Cornsweet is Superman. He honors Christopher Reeve's legacy with excellence. He leaves the cinema invigorated by the energy of hope that the film emanates. Thank you, James Gunn. This is Dan Casey says, was maybe the most anticipated movie of the year, and it really blew me away. I think I read that one, actually. This one's from Molly Freeman. James Gunn's Superman is great from start to finish. Just a fun-filled, action-packed, quintessential summer blockbuster. It's the shot of adrenaline the superhero movie genre needs. Also, Crypto is the best dog. David Gonzalez says James Gunn's Superman will make you believe a man can fly again. That was the tagline for Christopher Reeve's Superman when it came out in 1978. A soaring triumph that recaptures the classic DC spirit and reminds us why the Man of Steel still matters. David Cornsweet embodies the hope, humility, and heroism of the last son of Krypton. Nicholas Hoult brings a chilling edge to Lex Luthor, channeling the menace of Michael Rosenbaum's Smallville portrayal, while Rachel Brosnahan delivers the wit, warmth, and tenacious spark that defines Lois Lane. While some of Gunn's signature quips don't always land, they never overshadow the film's beating heart. It's not just a new Superman, it's the fresh start DC needed. It's a return to believing. Dorian Talks on X says, wow, what a blast. James Gunn delivers a fun, emotional, action-packed movie and accomplishes to make Superman look cool. Lex Luthor is a terrifying, incredible villain, and I hope to see a lot more of him. The DCU is off to an amazing start. The Batman film news says James Gunn delivers an all-timer with Superman. He perfectly captures the essence of the character, fully embracing the fantastical elements to the point where it felt like a comic book brought to life. While David Cornsweet is already my favorite Superman, the real standout is Nicholas Hoult, delivering a phenomenal performance as Lex Luthor, and Molly Freeman. I think I read this one I got that one. So that's just some of the early reviews, guys, and that's just from the people who, some of them got to see this early. There are people from Brazil and stuff like that got to see it early. But it looks like, at least so far, and I know that the Snyder lovers will review bomb it, because, again, that's just what idiots do. And regardless of whether the movie's good or not, they'll review bomb it because, they God forbid, they go against their Lord and Master, Zack Snyder, and say that, that their Superman can be better than Henry Cavill's. I enjoy all of them. Look, the only ones I'll say without question that I thought were terrible was Batman versus Superman. That Snyder did was awful, and his Justice League was a hot mess. They were terrible, and I don't care what kind of shine you put on it, but they were terrible. But Man of Steel was good. I enjoyed Man of Steel, and I enjoyed most of the Superman films, even the one with Brandon Routh, which a lot of people crap on because they said it's just, he's just trying to be Christopher Reeve Part 2. But I enjoyed that one as well. But I'm very, very psyched to go see this in a few hours. And I will be doing a non-spoiler review, which I may end up having to put in just a separate podcast because I don't know when I'll be doing another one this week. Is there let me look real quick because I always forget when these are. June 26th. No, the next OTA is until the 17th. So that's not until next week. So yeah, I may just end up doing like an emergency pod type thing and just do the review in that. But yes, we're starting off Marvel Snap with a with excitement from me, and I'm wearing my Superman shirt, and I'm just super excited to go. I've been in love with this character since 1970, well, probably before, because Christopher Reeve coming into the theaters and that tagline, "You will believe a man can fly," I was truly awed by that when I went to see it. When I was around 8 years old, and I had been watching prior to that the old George Reeves series that used to come on at my grandmother's house. Some of it was in black and white, some of it was in color, but I've been enamored with Superman as long as I can remember. And one of my first Halloween costumes, a Ben Cooper Superman costume when I was a kid. So I am super psyched to see this, and very excited I got on top of that Amazon Prime deal that they did to get an early screen for it. So I will let you know, but I'm fired up, and in more ways than one. And of course, Marvel Snap came out with the developer announcement yesterday. They talked about this season and all the cards and stuff like that, and they also showed a new game mode, which looks pretty cool. A lot of people are comparing it to Magic the Gathering's Commander. Which it does have elements of Commander. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But first, before we get into all of the stuff, and as you know, I'll give the little synopsis today of what we are going to talk about. We have coming up, of course, we're going to do the spin. And the DJ spin this week will be, I'm going to rank my first step cards. And then I'm going to do the Grand Arena preview. So we'll talk about that new game mode in the spin. No call-ins. I didn't get any call-ins. I'm very sad. Nobody sent me any questions, so I guess we'll just skip over that for this week. but that's okay. And then, of course, we'll do Mr. Fantastic in comics and Herbie in comics. Now, Herbie just got his first series, I think, not that long ago. He mostly came from a cartoon, but we'll go over him in the comic book section, and then we'll talk about the shop. There's a bunch in the shop today, so we'll just talk about all the new arrivals and things like that. And we'll look at some variants and things. There are the new Fantastic Four variants. Now, they are the initial Fantastic Four. They're variants of the initial ones that we've had since Snap started. So they're in the shop today. And then we'll go to the MCU Minute, and we'll talk about Fantastic Four because, of course, the Fantastic Four did something a little sneaky to try to pull stuff away from Superman. They did a half-hour, kind of like what they did with Deadpool and Wolverine. They did a half-hour sneak peek at the first half hour of the movie with some audiences at some conventions. I think they were overseas as well, but some people got to see the first half hour of the film. And, of course, they are assigned to agreements where, they can't say anything for fear of being sued and things like that. But yeah, so I'm sure, just be careful, because I'm sure there will be spoilers from those people that have seen. Now, if it's anything like Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, they did spoil a couple things. They spoiled that he was in his yellow and blue suit, and they spoiled that Henry Cavill was indeed playing Wolverine. So some of the early stuff in there, but a lot of these films now kind of tend to not put early, the stuff that's in the real big stuff. They tend to not really put in the first 20 minutes to a half hour of the film. So, whatever spoiler. But if you want to go in completely fresh, just make sure you avoid all the stuff, because I'm sure there will be a lot of it. So, okay, so we're going to get into before we do, I am an honored member of the Snap Judgments League of Podcasts, where you can listen to podcasts such as Snap on This with Lauren Whatevs, your host, Ben Roller, and of course, It's Just Re. They do that podcast every single Friday. They just had their rankings for their new cards on this past one. So make sure you go check them out. Like I said, every single Friday, you'll hear them talk about the new cards. You'll hear them talk about Snap news and things like that. And you'll hear them talk about comics and, of course, their secret homework. And I think this week you get a title tussle, which is always fun. They play a game where they decide whether a title is real or not. Or whether it's a fake made-up one. So check that out. It's always a fun time. And then, of course, we have Kier Nimbus. Kier Nimbus does a pod every single Saturday. Great dude. And he talks about the upcoming cards. I'm sure he'll talk about the 2 new cards this week. Talks about decks that he's played and things like that. Also talks about Snap news as well, and in a very short format. So if you're just in the mood for a quick podcast, check out Kier Nimbus. He is very good at that and getting all the information in a very quick manner. So check out Kier Nimbus's Infinite podcast, N-O-T. And then, of course, we have the Snap Judgments podcast. Glazer, I'm sure, is hard at work today with the new cards out. I'm sure he's testing and doing all that kind of stuff. So make sure you check out Glazer's pod. He always has awesome guests on there. They record it on Thursdays. Usually comes out on Saturdays, I think, in YouTube format or on audio. So, of course, that is the pod that started it all with Glazer and Roy. So check that out as well. All right, so we're going to get into the spin, and we're going to talk about my First Steps Cards season ranks. So let's talk about the cards. First off, today's cards, we have Mr. Fantastic. He is a 2/2, end of turn. Give a card in your hand -1 cost or +2 power. So -1 cost or +2 power. Both of them it is pretty darn good. This card I think is going to be a pretty good one. And then, of course, we had 3 cards out today. Now, the other one is, of course, behind the paywall. And the only way you get that one is if you decide to get the Super Premium Season Pass. I don't know if you can get it in Snap Packs. I haven't heard from anyone yet, or whether they'll put it in Snap Packs. I don't know. But that one is the Fantastic Car. 4/7, activate, give your end of turn cards +2 power. And then, of course, you got Herbie. Herbie I got in the Snap Pack. He is a 2/3. Each turn this is in play, swap to a new activate ability until one is used. And his activate abilities are: give 2 of your cards at each other location +1 power. He has create a rock here, set its power to 4. He has double this card's power, which would make him a 2/6, which is pretty good. And then he has next turn, get +2 energy. So the energy one's probably the big one. But he's going to play like a Nico. You put him out on 2. You're going to have basically 4 turns to let him go. But if your activate ends up being the last one, you're not going to get that. And you're not going to be able to do that because it'll be too late. Turn 6, it'll be too late. So kind of I wouldn't say he's as good as Nico. Nico's really good. So I wouldn't say he's as good as the card as Nico. So he's probably a little bit of a worse Nico, I think. With all activate abilities, though, that's the only thing. And then we'll read them off here. Human Torch is a 3/2. End of turn, get a +1 power once per game if your side here is full. Double this card's power instead. Then we have the Thing. 5/6. He, at the end of turn, +2 power. Once per game, if your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power. So him, like Human Torch, depends on whether the sides of the whether your side is full. So they want you to play to fill the side. The Thing can get even if you get him out on turn 5, unless you cheat him out, he's going to get the +2 power. He's going to be a 5/10, which isn't great. But if you end up destroying a card, he would be then whatever that card happened to be. So he'd be a 5/10 plus. Which would be a lot better. And then, of course, we have Invisible Woman. She's a 3/5, premium stat line. Activate this turn. Your end of turn abilities happen twice. Now, in the developer's video, they showed a Doom deck, Doom 2099, which I'm sure a lot of people will be trying her in because she makes that proc twice instead of once, because all the end of turn or end of turn abilities happen twice. And then we have Mole Man and Mad Thinker. Now, Mole Man and Mad Thinker, we don't know where they're going to be. They could be in the game mode, which we're going to discuss. But Mole Man's on reveal, banish the top card of your deck. Add 2 rocks to your hand. Set their power to the banished card's cost. They did change that. It used to be the banished card's power, which would have been a lot cooler and a lot probably more broken. And then, of course, we have Mad Thinker. He's a 1/1. At the start of each turn, after drawing +2 power if your hand is full. And this is just one of the cards that are going to be coming up. It's going to kind of mess around with the hand size a little bit. That's also going to be, that's going to have stuff to do with energy that you have left over, like with Wiccan and things like that. So, all right, so let's rank them, shall we? Obviously, we're going to go 1 to 8. My number 8. I'm going to go with Fantastic Car here at number 8. First of all, it's not a great stat line at 4/7. Second of all, with its activate ability, you're only going to be able to use it for really 3 turns. It does sync with the other cards, the end of turn abilities, your end of turn cards. So, it does sync with end of turn cards like Johnny Storm, like The Thing, and like Mr. Fantastic. It will give them all 2 power. So it's not horrible. I guess if you're playing a themed deck, which I kind of really think they want you to do with these cards, is play a themed deck with them because they all merge so well together. But the other reason I'm going last with that is also because of the fact that it's behind a paywall. Not thrilled with that, and I don't think a lot of other people will be as well, especially if this is going to be stuff they're going to do going forward, and it does seem like that's going to be the case. So that gets my rank number 8. Number 7, I'm going to go with Mad Thinker. I think Mad Thinker. He's okay, but if your hand is full, how often does that really happen? At the start of the game, I could see him being a 1/2, 1/3, maybe a 1/5, but I think there's just better 1 cards out there. Hydra Bob, you don't have to do anything with to get a 1/4. Martyr's been played a lot lately. So many people are filling their lanes that her drawback doesn't really hurt you. She's a 1/5. So Yeah, so I'm going to go with him at my number 7 until I see some other uses from him. I'm going to go low. Number 6, I'm going to go with the Thing. While I thought his ability was going to be fun and destroying the other card in the lane and stuff like that, he has to have less power than Thing. But if Thing ends up, on, let's say, on turn, once per game he's going to do this. So let's say on turn 6 is when he does it, and he's at a 5/10. That could almost be any card in the lane that he could destroy. So it's a random card, and maybe you're going to destroy something you don't even care about that they have over there. Yeah, it could sometimes be a larger card, but may not be because it's random. This card to me looks like one that could benefit from and I heard them talk about this on the Snapchat yesterday, but this one looks to me like a candidate for a possible buff. Whether they buff his power, whether they make him a 4/6 instead. But yeah, I love the Thing, and I just think it's not as is he better than the high Evo version? Probably, but the high Evo version doesn't even really see play much. So yeah, so I'm going to go with him as my number 6. Right, so we have Fantastic Car at 8. Mad Thinker at 7, Thing at number 6. I'm going to go Mole Man at number 5 here. On reveal, again, banish the top card of your deck, add 2 rocks to your hand. I mean, I kind of can see people with, Herbie's ability, now Mole Man's ability, and there's some other cards that are coming up that are going to have rocks. Are people going to play rock decks? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a funny kind of a thing, but I don't know. It depends. The card's cost. The best you're going to get is if it banishes a 6. But that's the thing. Are you going to want to banish a card to give yourself 2 rocks in your hand that are 6s, right? What's the cost of the rocks going to be? That's another question. Are they going to be 1s? Are they going to be 0s? If they're 0 6s, that's not bad, right? That's not bad because your 6-cost card might not have been a 6/12. So you're going to get, if there's 0 cost, you're going to get two cards down that equal up to 12 points that you could play really any time. But I don't know what the cost is going to be of the rock. But there's questions about this, and we'll have to see what it amounts to. Also, I like the art. And I've always loved Mole Man as a character. So he's been around since Fantastic Four, since the very, very beginning. So anyway, I'm going to put him above Fantastic Car, above Mad Thinker, and above the Thing for now. So I'm going to put him as number 5. Then we're going to go to 4. 4, I'm going to put Herbie in the slot number 4. And simply because of the randomness. And again, he does have some good abilities. But like I said, the activate with the energy thing is his best one. And if you happen to not get that, then, that's probably his best ability of them all. Create a rock here, set its power to 4 is kind of nonsense. Double this card's power. Okay, he goes to a 2/6. I mean, that's okay. It's Black Cat, right? And then give 2 of your cards at each other location plus 1 power. So that's not bad, I guess. But other than the 2 energy one, the other abilities are kind of just okay. So I'm going to go with Herbie as my number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go Invisible Woman because of the amount of things that activate on end of turn. And she's going to have them happen twice. On this turn when you play her, when you activate it, she's going to make it happen twice. So you could do that early on. You could do it later in the game. But I don't know. I think that's pretty cool, and I think that has the ability to be pretty strong. And like I said, obviously it might bring the Doom deck back that everybody loves so much. So I'm going to go with her at number 3. We have 2 left. I'm going to go with Human Torch at number 2. Again, end of turn plus 1 power, so he's going to just keep, raising up. If you have any of the other cards out that do the end of turn abilities, can make him even bigger. And then once per game, if your side here is full, double this card's power instead. So, he can get, he's gaining power each turn, let's say he gains 2 power, he goes to a 3-4, and then the once per game happens. If your side here is full, he goes to 3-8 and 3-9, 3-10. I mean, it's pretty good, right? It's kind of like a Surtur that can go. He of course got nerfed a bunch, but he raises up pretty easily. So yeah, I'm going to go with him as my number 2, and then as my number 1, as has been the case over this past year. I think it's the Season Pass card again, guys. I think the Season Pass card is going to be the best card of the bunch. And that, of course, is Mr. Fantastic, who came out today. He, of course, being a 2/2, end of turn, give a card in your hand, -1 cost or +1 power. He's like a Surge. And if you play him with Surge, you might have a good little combo rolling here. But, given your cost, your cost and your cards in your hand, -1 cost or +2 power, I don't see any drawbacks there. So I think he's the best card of the season. It remains to be seen. We'll see. But those are my ranks. So I have Mr. Fantastic at number 1, Human Torch at number 2. I have Invisible Woman at number 3, Herbie at number 4. I have Mole Man at number 5. I have The Thing at number 6. I have Mad Thinker at number 7, and I have Fantastic Car at number 8. So there you go. They are my rankings for the new cards. So that's we'll see how that works out and shapes up toward the end of the season, and whether or not I'm going to eat any kind of crow or not because of the rankings. So, all right, we're going to look at the new card mode, and I did put out some stuff on Twitter about it yesterday, and I put up posts about it. Binks just posted they just added a paywalled card to Super Premium Pass. Check out my video for thoughts on this. So yeah, they're gonna. I don't know why people didn't think that was going to be the case. I mean, it was pretty obvious that was what it was going to be. Card and Premium Pass. Okay, I'm done with this. Previous season was last for me when I spend money in this game. So there are people that are, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure why anybody's surprised by it. Or that they waited for it to be announced this way, but I think everybody kind of knew it. So people are upset about it, and I completely understand why they would be, and rightfully so. And just another pay thing that's come to the game. Now cards that are going to be locked behind paywalls and all that kind of sucks. So. Okay, we're going to look at the new game mode again, which is called Grand Arena. And I did ask some people what their thoughts were on this, but the way this works is you will pick a champion. And on the screenshot I have, it says choose your champion, which is kind of funny because it looks like J. Jonah Jameson is wearing armor. But I think that's supposed to be Mr. Fantastic. But it looks like J. Jonah Jameson's face. But it looks like you've got the Fantastic Four members, of course, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Thing, and you have Herbie, and then you have Dr. Doom. I'm trying to see who some of the others are here. Mole Man, and it looks like Carnage are the possible champions you could choose. And then what's cool is they are having pre-built decks. Now they've talked about this. It's the first time in the game that they're having that. Pre-built decks and the one they show under pre-built is a ongoing list. Mr. Fantastic's in it, Ant-Man, Goliath, Mojo, Captain Carter, Captain America, Punisher, Moonstone, Omega Red, Iron Man, Claw, and Spectrum. And they're saying that people are going to be able to, you're going to be able to have cards that maybe you don't have in your collection in these pre-built decks. So you're going to be able to play with cards that you've never played with before. And then let me see if they show anything else on here. This one has the Carnage as the choose your champion up top. That the other one is Mr. Fantastic. And this one is the deck called Maximum Carnage. Now, this is where those titles came from. I think I told you guys about this in previous episodes where they had these names. I'm like, what is Maximum Carnage? And that's what this is. So this is the Maximum Carnage. These are the decks. Stretch Goals is the one with Mr. Fantastic. The other one is Maximum Carnage. Has Carnage, Deadpool, Nico, Uncle Ben, Kid Omega's in it. Wow. Oh, man. Talk about cards that most people can't play. Hulkbuster, Wolverine, Venom, Sabretooth, Arnim Zola, Nolan Death. So it's basically a pre-made destroy deck. And then you have some spells that are going to be in here too, created by Mr. Fantastic in his deck. It's called the Council of Reeds. So this is, on reveal, give an ongoing card in your hand, -1 cost and +1 power. After you play it, repeat this. So obviously that's why you'd want to play that ongoing list. And you see just a bunch of different Reeds in the picture. The Reed with the beard, and then of course the one that has that robotic armor on, and then of course the normal Reed Richards is in it too. So that's in there. And the Maximum Carnage card, on reveal, banish this to move your champion here. Repeat its on reveal ability. So your champion in the deck is Carnage. So Maximum Carnage, you're going to ban this spell to get basically put Carnage there. So it's just another way to get Carnage out. And then they showed some screens of the game. And of course they show you using Maximum Carnage. They're playing the Carnage deck. And they're showing you, it looks like just like a regular game screen. And, you know, because they have the regular locations, Monster Island's there, Great Portal, and Clubhouse. So it doesn't look any different from the game screen. Yeah, they've used the Maximum Carnage spell to put Carnage into the lane. And then, yeah, so it kind of looks just like a regular game screen. I don't know if the games are going to be fast or anything like that. I would imagine they would be. And then you're just seeing a morph, basically, of Carnage into that same screen. And then the other one they're showing, you're seeing the ongoing list. That's changing the card and stuff like that. And again, it just looks like normal locations, Fisk Tower, Sewer System, and Danger Room are all listed there. And then, of course, you have your champions up on top next to your names as well. But to get more into this, I'm going to go to my post here, which I asked people what their thoughts were. Now, this came from Griffin. Griffin, of course, is the public relations guy in Snap. And he says, we've committed to communicating more ahead of time, and we're still committed to that. The event is still 3 weeks away. So that's this particular event. So it's 3 weeks away from now. So it's not happening right away. As we stated, we'll continue to iterate when it comes down to how LTGM's limited time game modes play, and also how we structure the rewards. I've been chatting a lot with the team about Grand Arena, and I very much look forward to letting you all know more about Grand Arena as we get closer to its launch on July 24th. So that is quite a ways away. I know concerns are at a high right now in regards to reward costs. I'll share this. Getting one of the 2 new cards will take a free tip. So that's probably where you're going to get Mole Man and or Mad Thinker. Getting one of the 2 new cards will take a free-to-play player around 12 games per day at a 50% win rate. Getting both new cards will take a free-to-play player around 31 games a day at 50% win rate. So free-to-play player is going to take a lot more, 31 games a day. Now, I don't know how long these games are going to be. So it's going to depend on that, right? Because if they go long, and it looks like just a regular game of Snap to me, if they go long, then that's a lot of games. 12 isn't bad, but that's a lot of games. Now, why? So one of the 2 new cards, free-to-play player, around 12 games. Well, I mean, it's 19 more than the 12. I'm sorry, they didn't add that in. So it's 19 more than the 12, so 31 total games to get both. So I don't know. I guess that's not too bad in the grand scheme. And this is what some people left me some comments on this, and this is what they had to say. So Gregor, who's been on my show, great creator, check out his channel, said this seems reasonable. Burb, who's been on my show, great dude as well. This feels right on the border of balance. Second card is a bit high. Yeah, I would agree. I think it should, 12 and 24 would have obviously been balanced. 12 and 31, yeah, the second card does seem a bit on the high side. Copy Dog on Twitter said, if one game is around 3 minutes, getting 1 card means playing for 36 minutes a day. Getting 2 cards means playing for 93 minutes a day. 60 to 70% win rate would lessen the time. We would know for sure when the currency and card prices are revealed, but still sounds manageable to me. And then Deadfish0491 said, they lied with HV. Why should I believe them now? Yeah, you're going to have, again, people are going to be upset by the Kid Omega stuff, which I cannot believe they put the Kid Omega in the pre-made deck. Oh, boy. Yeah, I that wouldn't have been a decision I don't think I would have made. Some responses to Copy Dog's post. Rudd Bear has a W. I guess he means win. Pampa Pro Snap says, no, without shame, I can say that I played like 300% more than that for literally nothing. And then Copy Dog replies, high five. It is with great pride that I admit that I played more than that as well. It was during the Deadpool League and Moon Girl Devil Dino League. So far, the comments that I've gotten on the new mode, it does seem like, and of course we have time for this. This isn't coming out, like I said, until the end of the month, till the 24th, so we've got time. But the comments that are out there on it so far have seemed relatively positive, at least so far. I'm not gonna, maybe when I do the second pod this week that I'm gonna do mostly with my Superman review, maybe I'll get into the thoughts on the Fantastic Car paywall stuff. I came to grips with it because I knew that it was coming. So I'm not at all surprised by it. But I'm not going to go into it here because I'm going to try to keep this as positive as I can. Because again, I'm positive today going to see the movie and stuff like that. I'm not going to get myself into a negative state of mind. So, all right. So there you go. That's the DJ spin for today. And again, like I said, I did not get any questions, but please send me those. I really loved hearing from all of you people. And send them to me on my Discord or on Blue Sky or on my, I have two Discords. I have one that, of course, is my own under Snap Decisions. And then I also have one that is under the Snap Judgments Discord family. I am on there as well, so you can hit me up there. Also over on Blue Sky, where you can respond, where you can send me DMs, whatever. And on Twitter as well, same thing. When I post, you can hit me up on the post or respond via DMs and stuff over on Twitter too. So hopefully we'll get back to those next week. But in any case, we're going to skip on through and we're going to move on to the game itself. We're going to get into the shop. We'll talk about the new cards and stuff like that. The screen's kind of cool. They show some scenes from the movie and stuff like that. You see the rocket launch on the right. You see Reed's board that he draws on, which was a big part of all the commercials. And then you see the four of them on there, embedded inside of the four, the Human Torch, of course. Mr. Fantastic, Thing, and Invisible Woman, all embedded in the logo. You see a little bit of fire up on top as well, which I would imagine relates to Human Torch. Looks like maybe Silver Surfer's up there too. It's hard to tell. I couldn't see really. Okay, so the Collector's Vault came back. Yay. The only thing I'm looking for is that stupid Annihilus card that I cannot get in the I Am Ivan album, because it's the only one I need to get the Galactus. So I'm dying here. And I have, I don't know whether or not I'm ever going to get that, because it is just not popping up for me. So I have the album favorited and all that kind of stuff, but that's not working. I'm just not getting it. But in my vault today, we have Deadpool, Peach Momoko Deadpool. We have the KO new variant of Spider-Man. We have the demonized variant of Shang-Chi. We have the fantasy variant of Juggernaut. We have the Peach Momoko She-Hulk. And we have the Venomized variant of Lady Sif. None of which I will purchase or buy anything of this, as I never really do. Okay. Let's look at, of course, the Vibranium offers are there. A new bundle there. Mysterio is a cheap one. Smoke and Mirrors. It's a cool card. Mysterio has some neat cards, and you can see like floating eyeballs and stuff around him, which is kind of neat. It splits cool too. It's a cool looking Mysterio. And then you get 800 gold, 800 credits, and a neon green border. Scarlet Letters, a Misery one. That's an expensive one, 7,500 gold, 4,000 credits, a border, and the Misery variant. Token Tuesday, 1,500 for 1,200. They have not been good at all. And then in the shop is the variants now. The Jimbo Salgado variant of Mr. Fantastic. Same artist also for Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. So all 4 of them are in there for variants. Now these are, again, the variants of the older ones, so not the new cards. These are the variants for the older versions of the Fantastic Four. So Sue looks cool. Half invisible, half not. Reed. Human Torches is kind of neat with him flying. And then Thing looks good as well. But again, they are the old ones. I have Vincenzo Riccardi of Polaris, Lemon Art, Mockingbird, Kim Jacinto Onslaught, and Midnight Suns Blade. So that is what's in my shop. And decks, I don't even have anything really set to go. Again, because I haven't played with any of the new cards yet. Probably won't until tonight. Let me see about variants here for the week. I did get Clea, the Creative Pocket House variant. They make pretty cool stuff. Their stuff is very anime looking. So I did get that. I got a Scream David Nakayama variant of Scream. By the way, the Iron Lad variant that everybody was talking about, the Justin Fields one. They have now fixed that because it looked terrible. And they fixed it where it now looks animated and stuff when it's split. So I'm happy for that because it is a cool-looking Iron Lad. But now it's all animated stuff. He's got little bolts of electricity coming out of him and things like that and stuff. So I'm glad they did that. Looks way better than it did before. I got the John Jiang variant of Symbiote Spider-Man, which I may have had for a bit. I got the Dormammu variant because I didn't have one, so I got the Dormammu variant. This is Creative House Pocket Dormammu, so I got that one. Looks very cool, split, by the way, with all the flames and stuff like that, and I put one of the orange borders on him. And then I got from the Alliance Rewards, and once again, congrats to my Alliance. My Alliance did manage to get all of the awards again, of course. And I did pull this from there. I got the Abomination, the Future Imperfect variant of the Abomination. So one I did not have, and I was thankful not to get an avatar, because in most cases I do. So I did pick that up. And then let's see. And then of course I have Mr. Fantastic and Herbie from today. So which I'm sure we'll see variants for those come out probably tomorrow. As far as where I finished last month, I stayed on 87. I think got to 87 the first couple of days, and I didn't go any further. I just stopped. And I was playing the other game modes a little bit. I was playing Conquest a little bit, and I did receive the reward from Conquest and stuff. So, but yeah, I didn't go any further than that. And so that's where I finished. I was playing yesterday some Agatha. This is that Agatha discard deck, which is pretty fun. It's Black Knight deck generally, but also with Agatha in the deck. Nebula, Black Knight, Spider-Ham, Moon Knight, Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, Iron Man, Claw, Black Bolt, Lady Deathstrike, Stature, and Agatha Harkness. So I was having some fun with that. Was playing a little bit of the Clea High Evo deck, which I think is about the best deck that honestly she's in. I really didn't see her being a very good card, and she really wasn't, unfortunately. It's kind of random, and it's okay, but she's not a card that I'm going to be probably playing a whole lot of. But this one has Sunspot, Nebula, Clea, Misty Knight, Bruce Banner, Marvel Boy's in here. Marvel Boy can give Clea a good amount of procs too, as can Misty Knight. Cyclops, Luna, Shang, High Evolutionary, Abomination, and Hulk are all in this deck. So pretty fun, kid. If you like playing High Evo, it's a good one to pick. And I was also messing around these last few days with a Galactus deck that I was playing, and this one is Zabu, Mercury. It's got the Mercury Cannonball combo in it. Mercury, Surge, Fenris Wolf, Negasonic, Luna Snow, Shang-Chi, Galacta, Symbiote Spider-Man, Cannonball, Galactus, and Goliath. This was better before the Galacta nerf But it still works. I mean, the symbiote Spider-Man thing doesn't fool anybody. You play that down, and your opponent's going to fill it. And so it's almost better playing it as a decoy and then just trying to get Galactus off someplace else if you can. The Mercury can help with that because she could freeze up a lane where you can also just use the Cannonball trick and just end up winning the lane with Cannonball. But I did get Galactus to go off quite a bit of times because this does generate, between Surge and Luna, you can get Galactus out pretty early. And then you got pretty good follow-up with him too. You got Negasonic as a follow-up, which I won a game with, or a couple games with that, being a follow-up to Galactus and having priority, obviously, like you will. Many people will just play like a really big card on that last turn for points, and you'll blow up that card. So, and then, of course, you have Alioth, which could just, somebody's playing a Hela deck against me in Conquest of all things. Like, who plays Hela anymore? But you see all kind of junk in Conquest. And I followed the Galactus up with an Alioth, and he was planning on playing as Hela because he knew he discarded a bunch of big cards. He discarded like an Infinite and things like that, so I guess he was hoping he would get one of them back, but that shut that right down and wasn't able to do that. So, and then of course you have Shang as well. So if they do outpower you, you can always get the Shang-Chi and blow something up that way. So, but yeah, those are primarily the decks I played at the end of the month. And we'll see what ends up happening as far as what this month is concerned. I know a lot of people are talking about Mr. Fantastic in that Havoc Agent Venom list, like kind of almost like putting him in just like a good cards type of list, and that's pretty much what that is. That's a good cards list that you can put Mr. Fantastic in. So you might see him in decks like that. And just other decks and stuff like that are strong decks. So we will see what ends up being there. I had to pause there. Sorry, I had the Amazon guy come to my door, and I didn't want. I ordered shoes, and I didn't want them sitting out in the storm that we're getting. So I had to pause there. So if you hear that little tiny pause, that's what it was. But yeah, we'll have to see what comes of Mr. Fantastic and Herbie and all that kind of stuff, and see what kind of decks people are playing them in as we go further into the season. So there you go. That's in essence what's in the shop. What I did notice too that they got rid of is the 200 free credits in the Marvel Snap actual shop itself are not there today. So I'm assuming that's done with. But that's another thing that people are hating the game right now are probably going to have to complain about because of that being taken. Now, they did say they were going to take it away, but it's just gone. I thought they were going to lower it to 100 or whatever, but it's just gone. So, all right, we're going to move on. Now, again, this one might be a little bit abbreviated because, again, I didn't get any questions or anything to go over. So this might be a bit abbreviated, but we're going to have two cards in Comics Corner. So we're going to hit that up right now. We're going to head over to the Comics Corner section of the pod, and we're going to talk about, well, you know what? Let's start backwards. Let's talk about Herbie first, because he's going to be quicker, I think, than Mr. Fantastic, because Mr. Fantastic is... he's been around for a long, long time, and we'll talk about. So we'll go over Herbie first. All right, Herbie. Oh yeah, he was in comics as well. Okay. I see. I don't remember him from the comics as much. I mean, now that I'm seeing what he looks like, I do, but I don't remember him from the Fantastic Four books as much. I remember him from the cartoon, but not as much from the comics. But anyway, his first appearance was in the New Fantastic Four, Monster Among Us, September 9th, 1978. So he's been in comics. His first comics appearance was Fantastic Four 209 from 1979. So his appearance, he was in that one, A Monster Among Us, but he debuted, his first actual comic appearance was in Fantastic Four number 209 the following year in 1979. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So, funny that he wasn't made before then. Like, that he wasn't out like early on with the Fantastic Four, which was, the books were out a lot earlier than 1978, 79. So he's a newer character that they made. In-story information, he is a humanoid experimental robot B-type integrated electronics species. He is a robot. Team affiliations, AI Army and Fantastic Four. He's got abilities to connect to any computer system, electricity generators, lasers, various hidden tools and features. Now, you might be hearing some thunder outside. It is thundering now. I always have sound effects, right? I always told you guys I wanted sound effects for my pod. Maybe I don't need it. Last week I had fireworks at the end of the show. This week, the one time I had the ice cream truck. Now I have thunder. So maybe I just don't need it. It just makes its own sound effects. Herbie is a fictional robot appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The character was initially conceived for the new Fantastic Four and integrated into the comics continuity shortly afterwards. Character is usually depicted as an ally of the Fantastic Four. Herbie will appear in the MCU Universe film The Fantastic Four First Steps, voiced by Matthew Wood. When the Fantastic Four property was made into an animated series in 1978, the character of the Human Torch. Okay, so that's not in comics. That's the new Fantastic Four Monster Among Us, September 9th, 1978. That's the cartoon that he debuted, so I was right. The character of the Human Torch was unable to be used, as at the time the character had been optioned separately for use in a solo film which never materialized. A popular but false urban myth contends that the character was replaced due to fears that children might attempt to emulate him by setting themselves on fire. So that was obviously we'll talk about the Torch in a few weeks, but that was an urban legend kind of a thing that was made up. So that was not true. It was movie rights that stopped them from using him in the cartoon. Needing a fourth member to round out the team, Stan Lee pitched the idea for a cute robot sidekick, and artist Jack Kirby, who'd been hired to storyboard artist for the DePatie Freeling Enterprises, designed it. This was Kirby's last work for Marvel. Oh, wow. Damn. So Herbie was Jack Kirby's last work for Marvel. In the series, Herbie was voiced by Frank Welker. Megatron. Megatron voiced Herbie. That's awesome. I didn't know. Or no, wait. Frank Welker. No. Is Frank Welker... Oh, now I have to look this up. Is Frank Welker Optimus Prime? Hang on. And Scooby-Doo. Voice acting career. He was in a bunch of Scooby-Doo stuff. Oh, come on. Where's Transformers here? What did he do for... Oh, he's in Dungeons and Dragons. He did Uni's voice. Inspector Gadget. He voiced various characters on The Simpsons. He definitely did... Frank Welker definitely did... He was definitely in Transformers or something. Yeah, he had to be. I know I'm not remembering this wrong. Oh, there it is. Okay. Voiced many recurring characters in the original Transformers animated series. Voiced several Decepticons, including... Okay, so he was Megatron. So he did Megatron, Soundwave, Skywarp, Mixmaster, Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage. Wow, he did almost all of the bad guys. He was the voice... He took on the role of Wheelie in Transformers the movie. Took all over the role as Galvatron from Leonard Nimoy, and also voiced Chrome Dome and Pinpointer. And he reprised the roles of Megatron and Soundwave in the series Transformers Prime. So he was Megatron. That's what I thought. Okay. So so Frank Welker voiced Megatron. Okay, now that we cleared that up. Okay, so... Shortly after its premiere, the character was introduced to comics continuity by writer Marv Wolfman and artist John Byrne. First appeared in comics in Fantastic Four 209 in 1979, adapted from the cartoon character. The character subsequently appears in Fantastic Four 210 to 220 to 213, 215 to 217, and then a bunch of others. The Marvel Holiday Special. Oh, that's right, he was in that. X-Men 181, Franklin Richards one-shot, X-Men Runaways, Sensational Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Death in the Family, Franklin Richards Super Summer Spectacular, Franklin Richards Happy Thanksgiving, Franklin Richards Monster Mash, Franklin Richards' fall football fiasco. Herbie received an entry in the all-new official handbook of the Marvel Universe. He also appeared in all-new, all-different Black Knight in 2015. He appears as part of the Black Knight's Sanctuary. It was created by Mr. Fantastic and Master Zar of the Xandarians, who hoped that the robot could aid their search for Galactus, whom they sought for aid in defeating the villain known as the Sphinx. It's also revealed that in the comic book continuity, Johnny Storm did not show up to a meeting with a cartoon company. Therefore, Herbie replaced him in a cartoon series based on the Fantastic Four. So that was in the comic book. So they explained why Johnny wasn't in it. What neither of the creators realized, however, was that Dr. Sun, an enemy of Master Zar, who had his consciousness trapped within Xandarian computers, was able to escape by jumping from the computer to Herbie's body. The little robot was his sleeper agent, whom he could control whenever he wished. Although an alien pirate mysteriously died in Herbie's presence and the villain Blastar suddenly escaped from the negative zone, nobody suspects Herbie was responsible. After Sun's attempt to assassinate the Fantastic Four with Blastar failed, Dr. Sun reveals himself at last, trapping the Invisible Woman and the Human Torch within the Baxter Building security system and besting Mr. Fantastic and Thing with Herbie's weapons. He then abandons Herbie's body and transfers his consciousness into the Baxter Building's main computer, which would allow him to control the entire building and all of the weaponry within. Mr. Fantastic locks Sun from the computer system, but Herbie realizes that Sun could simply return to his body. Not wanting the villain to cause any more trouble, Herbie heroically throws himself into the computer, destroying it, Sun, and himself. Later, Franklin is shown with another Herbie robot that Ben refers to as a flying frog. It's explained that this one had been built partly to keep an eye on Franklin's developing powers. Said powers fluctuate due to Franklin's failure to solve a Rubik's Cube and a nearby TV show urging someone to grow up. The resulting power surge destroys Herbie. Other Herbie robots are eventually built throughout the years, serving general duties around the Baxter Building. In Marvel Knight's Fantastic Four, Herbie has served as a guardian and companion for Franklin Richards and his sister Valeria. A mistake leaves the Fantastic Four lost in time, and other heroes running the Baxter Building. The Herbie robots take on costumes of Doctor Doom and demand respect. Otherwise, they are peaceful. They later reject his clothing and go back to normal duties. Several of the robots take to watching interesting videos online in their downtime. The design of Herbie is displayed in the Smithsonian near the Spider-Mobile. After Reed Richards and his wife vanished following Secret Wars, much of Reed's belongings are transferred over to the heroine known as Moon Girl. Herbie activates when Galactus shows up. Herbie declares he has been a Galactus sensing device all this time. Herbie is among the former Fantastic Four members who are summoned to Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman when they are threatened by the Griever at the end of all things. In the one-shot Incoming, Valeria Von Doom removes Herbie's inhibitor chip, allows him to express to Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman how much he hates them. During the Iron Man 2020 event, Herbie appears as a member of the AI Army. During One World Under Doom, Herbie was upgraded by Mr. Fantastic to pilot a special time machine to head to the event of the Big Bang in an attempt to get the Fantastic Four repowered. It works, but Herbie sacrifices himself to send the Fantastic Four back to the present. Mr. Fantastic later mentioned to Invisible Woman that he rebuilt Herbie with his pre-upgraded memories. Powers and abilities. He has the ability to connect to any computer system, also possesses electricity generators and lasers. He also possesses various hidden tools and features. Hubert. Related robots, Hubert, short for hyper-ultronic brain-employing randomizing tracings. Was created by Mr. Fantastic to be Franklin's babysitter. Franklin later destroys Hubert before Reed builds a replacement. Sherby, short for SHIELD, heuristic experimental robot, B-type integrated electronics, is a robot who SHIELD's version of Herbie. He was in Deadpool Killustrated. Modified Herbie units from an alternate universe devoid of heroes appear in Deadpool as servants of Deadpool. Franklin Richards, son of a genius. He was in Marvel Adventures, Marvel Mangaverse, Marvel Zombies. These versions serve as security for the abandoned Baxter Building. Old Man Quill. A possible future variant of Herbie appears in Old Man Quill. This version survived the Baxter Building's wreckage for 55 years. And also was in Ultimate Marvel, Ultimate Fantastic Four. These versions come in small hovering models and large mechs that serve as guards. He was in a lot of television. The new Fantastic Four, obviously voiced by Frank Welker, appears in Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes, voiced by Sam Vincent. This version is a supercomputer who monitors Mr. Fantastic's lab. Herbie appears in the Superhero Squad show, voiced by Tara Strong. Herbie makes a non-speaking cameo in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode The Kang Dynasty. Herbie makes a non-speaking cameo in Ultimate Spider-Man episode Venom. Herbie appears in Spidey and His Amazing Friends, voiced by Tim Dadabo. Deactivated Herbie, this is in films, makes a non-speaking cameo appearance in the extended cut of Fantastic Four from 2005. Will appear in Fantastic Four First Steps. And then video games, he's in Marvel Heroes. He's in Pinball FX2. Playable character in Lego Marvel Superheroes, voiced by Tara Strong. And appears as an NPC in Marvel Rivals, voiced by Susie Young. Alternately, an acronym for highly engineered robot built for interdimensional exploration and humanoid experimental robot B-type integrated electronics. So there you go. That is about it for Herbie, and his history. And like I said, I knew that he was historically from the cartoon is where he came from, and came about as a replacement because they could not use Human Torch. So that's kind of a neat history there. And I never knew as a kid because that was on when I was very young. Watching it, and I'm always wondering because I love the Human Torch. I remember having the Human Torch's Mego action figure back in the day, and it was my favorite one of the Fantastic Four. 3 really. I told you on another episode I never bought the female dolls. Even though I liked Invisible Woman in the comics, I never really bought the I don't know, that could have been my parents' thing too. Who knows? Parents were weird back in the day. If my dad saw an Invisible Woman doll and thought it looked like a Barbie or something, there's no way he would have bought it for me. So maybe that was why. But I love the Human Torch one, and he was one of my favorites of the Fantastic Four. So I was very disappointed when I didn't see him in the actual TV series. I was bummed out. So. All right, we're going to go into Mr. Fantastic and his extensive history in one of my favorite comic books of all time. So, first published Marvel Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four #1 in 1961. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. His alter ego, Dr. Reed Nathaniel Richards. Species, human mutate. Team affiliations, Fantastic Four, Avengers, Future Foundation, Defenders, and the Illuminati. Notable aliases, Invincible Man and Reed Benjamin. Abilities, genius, level intellect, exceptional engineer, physicist, a biologist, and a chemist, superhuman elasticity, malleability, and durability, and limited shape shifting. Of course, in Marvel Comics, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the character is a founding member and leader of the Fantastic Four. Richards has a mastery of mechanical, aerospace, and electrical engineering, chemistry, all levels of physics, and human and alien biology. Business Week listed Mr. Fantastic as one of the top 10 most intelligent fictional characters in American comics. He is the inventor of the spacecraft that was bombarded by cosmic rays on its maiden voyage, granting the Fantastic Four their powers. Richards gained the ability to stretch his body into any shape he desires. Mr. Fantastic acts as the leader and father figure of the Fantastic Four, and although his cosmic ray powers are primarily stretching abilities, his presence on the team is defined by his scientific acumen, as he is officially acknowledged as the smartest man in the Marvel Universe. This is particularly a point of tragedy in regards to his best friend Ben Grimm, who he has constantly tried to turn back into his human form, but who typically remains in a large rocky form and is called the Thing. Richards is the husband of Susan Storm, father of Franklin Richards and Valeria Richards, and mentor to his brother-in-law, Johnny Storm. Characters were portrayed by actors Alex Hyde White in the 1994 The Fantastic Four film, Ioan Gruffudd. I never knew how to pronounce that. Ioan Gruffudd, I don't know. In the 2005 film, The Fantastic Four, and its 2007 sequel, Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer, and Miles Teller in the 2015 Fantastic Four, which many claim to be the worst. And I thought it was really bad. Thing looked awful. It's just a shame because they had some pretty decent actors in that. And Miles Teller, I just watched in The Gorge, and I thought he was excellent. That's a great film, by the way. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, John Krasinski portrayed Richards in 2022 in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, and Pedro Pascal portrayed him in the 2025 film The Fantastic Four: First Steps, 26 film Avengers: Doomsday, and 2027 Avengers: Secret Wars. And I'm sure there'll be another Fantastic Four film, and I'm sure he'll be in a lot of films beyond this. How about Pedro Pascal, man? This good dude gets all these great roles. I mean, Mandalorian, The Last of Us, now this. I mean, man has been in everything. Somebody said they're coming out with an Indiana Jones remake, and there was a joke about that saying, we all know what that's going to be, and it showed a picture of Pedro playing Indiana Jones. He's like the big actor of our time, right? Like, he's done everything. He's got to be in what? Got to be in a DC film. He's been in Star Wars. Now he's been in Marvel. The Last of Us, which is one of the biggest video games and a huge show on TV right now. There's not much left for this guy to do already. He's been in all the big franchises that are out there. Okay, so pre-Fantastic Four, he was born in Central City, California. Reed is the son of Evelyn and Nathaniel Richards. Nathaniel was a scientific genius, and Reed inherited similar level of intellect and interest. Child prodigy with special aptitude in math, physics, and mechanics. Reed was taking college-level courses when he was 14. He attended such prestigious universities as the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, California Institute of Technology, Harvard, Columbia, and the fictional Empire State University. By the age of 20, he had several degrees in the sciences under his belt. Was at Empire State University, he met Ben Grimm. Reed had already been, a lot of them went there. Spider-Man, Peter Parker went to Empire State as well. In Richards, Doom met the first person who could match him intellectually. Regarding Richards I'm skipped that. Reed had met Ben Grimm, begun discussing a starship capable of traveling in hyperspace. Sharing his plans with his new roommate, Grimm jokingly volunteered to pilot the craft. And then also he met Victor Von Doom. Doom met the first person who could match him intellectually. Regarding Richards as his ultimate rival, Doom became increasingly jealous of Richards. Determined to prove he was better, Doom conducted reckless experiments which eventually scarred his face and would lead him to become Dr. Doom. During the summer months, Reed rented a room in a boarding house owned by the aunt of a young woman named Susan Storm, who was an undergraduate student at the time. Reed fell in love with Sue instantly and began courting her. Ultimately, Reed was too distracted from his work on his dissertation due to his romance with Sue and decided that the best thing for both of them was to move out of Mary Gay's home. Moving on to Harvard, Reed earned his PhDs in physics and electrical engineering while working as a military scientist. All this at the age of 22. He also worked in communications for the Army and was involved in Sin-Kong conflict. 3 years later, in his mid-20s, he used his inheritance, along with government funding, to finance his research. Determined to go to Mars and beyond, Richards based the fateful project in Central City. Susan moved into the area and within a short time found herself engaged to Reed. Reed's old college roommate, Ben Grimm, now successful test pilot and astronaut, was indeed slated to pilot the craft. All seemed well, however, when the government threatened to cut funding and cancel the project. Reed, Ben, Sue, and Sue's younger brother, Johnny, agreed to sneak aboard the starship and take it up immediately. They knew they had not completed all the testing that had been planned, but Reed was confident they would be safe. Ben was initially skeptical about the unknown effects of radiation, while Reed theorized that their ship's shielding would be adequate to protect them. It was on Reed's initiative that the fateful mission, which had Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm accompanying him into space, took place. When their ship passed through the Van Allen belt, they found their cockpit bombarded with nearly lethal doses of cosmic radiation. Reed had neglected to account for the abnormal radiation levels in the belt's atmosphere. The cosmic rays were wreaked havoc on the starship's insufficient shielding, and they were forced to return to Earth immediately. When they crash-landed, they found that their bodies were changed dramatically. Reed's body was elastic, and he could reshape any portion of his body at will. At his suggestion, they decided to use their new abilities to serve mankind as the Fantastic Four. Reed was chosen to lead the group under the name Mr. Fantastic. He later told his daughter, by way of a bedtime story, that the reason he suggested they become adventurers and give them such outlandish costumes and names like Mr. Fantastic and the Thing was that he knew they would likely be hated and feared for their powers without such an over-the-top public image. History has been changed over the years to keep it current. In the original comics, Richards was a veteran of World War II who had served behind enemy lines in occupied France, and the goal of his space mission was a crewed spaceflight to the moon before the communists were able to. This was later changed to getting there before the Chinese communists and to explore the interstellar areas of the Red Planet and beyond. Also, Reed originally states that he and Sue were kids together and that Sue was the girl next door who Reed left behind to go fight in the war. This origin story was many years later altered so that Sue was 13 years old when she first met Reed, who was in his early 20s, at her Aunt Mary Gay's boarding house. Current official Marvel canon has since altered this story by combining elements of both. It eliminated the large gap and maintained that Reed and Sue did not meet until their late teens at Aunt Mary Gay's boarding house. The change in age was an editorial decision made in 2013, as Reed developing several years later a romantic interest in a girl he first met when she was 13 years old seemed inappropriate. Leadership of the Fantastic Four. The early career of the Fantastic Four led Mr. Fantastic to a number of discoveries and had their first encounters with many unusual characters. In the team's first appearance, they battled Mole Man. Then they battled the Skrulls. Soon after that, the team encountered Submariner. Then they had the first of many battles with Doctor Doom. They later journeyed to a subatomic world. Soon after that, they encountered Ramatut. They then battled the Molecule Man. As the team's leader, Mr. Fantastic created numerous exotic devices and vehicles for the team to use, such as clothing made of unstable molecules so that it can be used with their powers safely. Furthermore, he often leads the team into daring expeditions such as into the Negative Zone, in addition to opposing evil. Also, he has felt personally responsible for Ben Grimm's grotesque change and has labored on and off to reverse it permanently. Under his guidance, the team went on to become Earth's most celebrated band of heroes. Together they would save the world countless times, ever driven by his quest for knowledge. Reed is believed by most to be Earth's foremost intelligence. There is little he cannot create, fix, or understand given time. The patents and royalties on his inventions alone have funded the group over the years. However, there are drawbacks to his association with the team. Chief among them is the team's violent encounters with Doom, who believes that Reed was responsible for the accident that scarred him. Doom has never forgiven Reed and has sworn revenge. Doom has even gone as far as transforming Reed into a monstrous freak, attacking Reed's children, and attempting to seduce Sue. There are tons and tons of subplots and stuff here. Let's see. Of course, Reed marrying Sue. Not long after that, the team encountered the Inhumans for the first time. They next encountered Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Reed opened up a portal in the Negative Zone for the first time. Soon the team battled Psycho Man. They had the baby, Franklin. Team battled Annihilus. Franklin was a mutant with incredible powers, but due to the cosmic ray alteration to his parents' DNA, they manifested while he was still very young, which could happen in a movie. Franklin appears to have power that can rival a member of the Celestials. The power of a god in a baby of a small child, in the body of a small child. Couples briefly separated. Reed further alienated Sue by shutting down Franklin's mind to prevent his power from causing global catastrophe. Sue initiated divorce proceedings, but the two were reconciled soon after. Reed also saved Galactus' life during the course of his adventures. He then bought the Baxter Building. Later, he was tried by the Shi'ar for saving Galactus' life, but the charges were dropped when Eternity briefly granted all those attending the trial a moment of cosmic awareness that allowed them to understand that Galactus was necessary for the continued well-being of the universe. Reed's battle with Gormu prior to getting his powers was recounted. Just after that, Reed was reunited with his father in an alternate timeline. Sometime later, Reed and Sue retired from the Fantastic Four and then joined the Avengers. Although Reed's past experience as a leader of the Fantastic Four meant that he had trouble adjusting to following Captain America's lead, regardless of his respect for the other man. Eventually, Reed and Sue did rejoin the Fantastic Four. Fought an alien called Hunger. Reed and Doom had actually been thrown back in the time of barbarians. The rest of the Fantastic Four recruited Scott Lang as a scientific advisor. A while later, remaining Fantastic Four, along with the Submariner, found themselves trapped in the same era as Reed and Doom. Then they go into Onslaught and Heroes Reborn. They were confronted by Onslaught, took control of an army of Sentinels, invaded New York. Onslaught wanted to add the abilities of godlike Franklin Richards to his own. Only through the apparent sacrifice of Fantastic Four's own lives, that had many of the heroes in the Marvel Universe, was Onslaught finally vanquished. So they helped to beat Onslaught. And this is pre-registration prior to Civil War. Reed is one of the leading figures, along with Iron Man, on the side of which is in favor of the Superhuman Registration Act. And then goes on to talk more about Civil War. World War Hulk. Reed learned of from a brief conversation with Mastermind Excello that the Hulk is not on the planet where the Illuminati attempted to exile him. After a conversation over the good the Hulk has done for humanity, Reed tells Iron Man of what happened to Hulk and also states that the Hulk has friends and may God help us if they find him before we do. And that just goes into World War Hulk storyline, Secret Invasion. Mr. Fantastic is at the Illuminati's meeting discussing the threat of Skrulls. Dark Reign. Aids the new Avengers in search of the daughter of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Future Foundation. Tragedy strikes when Johnny is apparently killed in the negative zone. As Fantastic Four recover from his apparent death, Mr. Fantastic grows delusioned at how scientists see science and its applications. Creates a new team, the Future Foundation, to help create a better future for mankind. However, the team's initial tasks are complicated when they are forced to deal with the Council of Reeds. There's a Quiet Man storyline, of course, Secret Wars. Reed is one of the few survivors of Earth 616 to come through with his memories intact, hiding in a life raft with various other heroes, and eventually released by Doctor Strange, learning that the new battle world is now ruled by Doctor Doom. So this is the one I think is going to be the one we're going to see in the movies, who has absorbed the power of various Beyonders and Molecule Men to become a god. Reed and the other heroes disperse across Battleworld to come up with a plan. Reed eventually starts working with his counterpart from the Ultimate Marvel Universe, who calls himself Maker. The two find themselves disagreeing on their methods, with Reed preferring to find a way to save the world, while Maker is more focused on killing their enemy. Reed countering his other self's accusations that he is weak by musing that he simply has things to care for outside of himself. The final confrontation, Reed and the Maker discover that the source of Doom's power is the Molecule Man, but although the Maker attempts to betray Reed by forcibly devolving him into an ape, Reese reverses the Maker's attack and turns him into pepperoni pizza. Okay. A pepperoni pizza, huh? That's, forgot about that one. When Doom comes down to confront Reed, Reed challenges Doom as Reese temporarily deprives Doom of his new god-level powers. Reed proclaiming Doom to be nothing more than a coward for taking control of what was left of existence rather than trying to reshape it. Inspired by Reed's words, Reese transfers Doom's power to him, with Reed recreating the former Earth 616 before he, Susan, their children, and the rest of the Future Foundation move to use Franklin and Reed's powers to rebuild the multiverse. That is something that could indeed happen in the Secret Wars film. So all of this could come to pass. So the stuff with Reed won't be exact because, of course, we don't have Molecule Man, and I don't think we're going to get him before that. So they have to redo that. Some are thinking that it could be Sentry that Doom could steal the powers from, and instead of Molecule Man. Because Sentry is pretty much right now like the equivalent of the strongest of all of the heroes in the MCU. So some are thinking that Doom is going to steal, or maybe he's just going to do a combination of a bunch of people. And we all know that the old X-Men are going to be there, and maybe that's the way he does away with them, by just stealing their powers. So maybe that's what it's all going to come to. Powers and abilities, of course, you all know he gained the powers from cosmic rays. Can control his shape, has been developed to such a point that he's been able to radically alter his facial features and his entire physical form to pass among human and non-humans unnoticed and unrecognized. He's even molded himself into the shapes of inanimate objects, such as a mailbox. He rarely uses his powers in such an undignified fashion. However, he appears to have no qualms about stretching out his ears, taking the shape of a dinosaur, becoming a human trampoline, or inflating his hands into pool toys to entertain his children. Most extreme demonstration of his powers is when at one point he was able to increase his size and mass to thing-like proportions, which also increased his physical strength. Strength comes from more than his power, the powers of his mind than the powers of his body. He once told Spider-Man that he considers his stretching powers to be expendable compared to his intellect. Mr. Fantastic has been depicted as one of the most intelligent characters in the Marvel Universe. A visionary and inspired machine-smith, he has made breakthroughs in such varied fields as space travel, time travel, extra-dimensional travel, biochemistry, robotics, computers, synthetic polymers, communications, mutations, transportation, holography, energy generation, and spectral analysis, among others. Richards is among Earth's greatest experts in judo and has many years of combat experience with the Fantastic Four. Experiments and technology. Fantastic Flare, which launches a fiery 4 into the sky that is used during combat situations so that other members of the group know their location. and also the uniform computer. Like all Fantastic Four's costumes and the rest of Reed's wardrobe, his suit is made of unstable molecules. That means that the suit is attuned to his powers, which is why Johnny's costume doesn't burn when he flames on. Sue's costume turns invisible when she does, and Reed's costume stretches with him. Costume also insulates them from electrical assaults. In addition, the team's uniforms are also, in essence, wearable computers. Their costumes have a complete data processing and telemetry system woven into the material of the uniform on a molecular level. This forms a network with the entire team, providing a constant real-time uplink of everyone's physical condition as well as their location and current situation. The suit is capable of displaying data and touchpad controls on the gauntlets. Its sensors can track all of the team's uniforms and provide a picture of their immediate vicinity. The suit has an intricate scanner system which can detect things around the wearer, from how many people are in the next room to what dimension or planet they are on. Reed can also uplink the bodysuit to any computer by stretching his fingertips to filament size and plugging them into an I/O data port. With this, Reed can establish a fully comprehensive database of any computer's cybernetic and encryption algorithms. Then, of course, you have Age of Apocalypse, Amalgam, Brute. This is really early on. 1972 are some of these. So just other things that he took. The Council of Reeds, Earth A, Exiles, Heroes Reborn, Marvel 1602, 2099, Marvel Apes, Mangaverse, Marvel Zombies, MC2, Mutant X, Spider-Gwen. Just of course, a ton, as you would imagine. What If? A bunch of What If books. And then, of course, and in other media, he was in Fantastic Four 1967. That's the cartoon, voiced by Gerald Moore. Was in the new Fantastic Four, voiced by Mike Road. That's in, and then appears in Fantastic Four 1994, voiced by Bo Weaver. This version was married to Sue Storm prior to them obtaining their powers. It was in Incredible Hulk episode Fantastic Fortitude, voiced by Bo Weaver. Was in Spider-Man the Animated Series 3-part episode of Secret Wars, voiced by Cam Clark. Fantastic Four World Greatest Heroes, voiced by Hiro Kanagawa. This version is not married to Sue. Appeared in Superhero Squad show, voiced by James Marsters. Appeared in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, voiced by D. Bradley Baker. Hulk and the Agents of Smash episode Monsters No More, voiced by Robin Atkin Downs. And was in Marvel Superhero Adventures, voiced by Bill Newton. And in films, 1994, portrayed by Alex Hyde White. That's that Lost episode of the Lost movie that never really made it to theaters. Was in Fantastic Four 2005, portrayed by Eoin Gruffudd. This version is initially fiscally incompetent and nearing bankruptcy, forcing him to seek investment from Victor Von Doom to further his projects. And was in Rise of the Silver Surfer, portrayed by Eoin Gruffudd. He's become engaged to Sue Storm by then. Non-speaking cameo in Planet Hulk as a member of the Illuminati. Appeared in Fantastic Four 2015, portrayed by Miles Teller. This version, along with the rest of the Fantastic Four, obtained his powers from a botched expedition to a parallel dimension called Planet Zero. Alternate version of Reed Richards appears in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, portrayed by John Krasinski. This version is a member of the Illuminati and the Baxter Building from Earth 838, who was later killed by the Scarlet Witch. Reed will appear in First Steps, portrayed by Pedro Pascal. Appears as an asset character in Spider-Man. These are all just games. He was in the Spider-Man 95 game, Fantastic Four 97 game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Fantastic Four 2005, Rise of Silver Surfer, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, Playable Character Marvel Superhero Squad Online, Frank West's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, Pinball FX2, Marvel Avengers Alliance, Marvel Heroes, also in Lego, Marvel Superheroes, Marvel Future Fight and Puzzle Quest, Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, and Marvel Rivals as well. Parody of him is shown on the Adult Swim cartoon, The Venture Brothers. This features a character named Professor Richard Impossible, voiced by Stephen Colbert. The Terrible Secret of Turtle Bay, Christopher McCullough in Season 3, Bill Hader in Season 4, who attains the same powers as Mr. Fantastic. In a Season 4 episode of Stargate Atlantis Travelers, Colonel John Shepard. uses the alias Reed Richards when kidnapped. In The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode segment titled Stop the World, I Want to Goof Off, there's a moment where the family is transformed to resemble members of the Fantastic Four. Bart is Mr. Fantastic. He exhibits the same ability as Stretch Dude in a previous Treehouse of Horror episode entitled Desperately Zeking Xena. He appears in Robot Chicken, Monsterage, voiced by Seth Green. Norm Macdonald plays Richards in a skit appearing in his comedy album Ridiculous. In it, the members of the Fantastic Four are deciding on their names. After Reed comes up with The Thing, Invisible Woman, and Human Torch for his teammates, he decides to call himself Mr. Fantastic. His teammates become upset because, unlike the other names, Mr. Fantastic does not really describe his powers. Mr. Fantastic's genitalia, along with that of former member The Thing, is discussed in the film Mallrats, in a scene guest starring Stan Lee. So there you go. That is a lot of the rich history of Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four. We're going to go over to Marvel Unlimited, and we're going to look up both characters, because I told you Herbie has his own series now. So let's look up Herbie first, and we'll see what's in here. And I'm seeing, okay, it's probably abbreviated, yeah. I think they have it abbreviated by periods. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So they have it all abbreviated. So Herbie, no description of him. It just says you can follow the character. But he's got the Infinity comic, which only appears in the app. That's 2025 to present. That's up to issue number 5. So that is new, and that again is only, you can only get that in the Marvel Unlimited app. And then of course from 1961 to 1998, Fantastic Four, and that right here you see issue number 209 of the Fantastic Four. Introducing, right on the cover says Herbie the Robot. Beware, he's not what he seems to be. So that is the appearance of him in 1979. So maybe that'd be cool if they made that the comic book cover. One of the things that they show from Herbie. That'd be kind of neat. But I don't think so, because technically he's not really on the cover. I mean, he's on the cover, but he's all the way at the bottom of the cover. So I'm not sure how they would pull that off. But yeah. So in any case, so there's Herbie. And then Mr. Fantastic's going to have a gigantic amount of stuff in here under him. But we will look him up anyway. And so I hope you all learned something about the character today. That's kind of why I do this. It's maybe some things that you didn't already know about him. And yeah, we'll look in the book here. And, of course, he'll have a description, the details of his character. Reed Richards is a Fantastic Four scientific genius on whom his teammates depend for leadership and direction. As Mr. Fantastic, Reed has the power to stretch his limbs, neck, and torso. And there's also the Ultimate one as well in the Ultimate books. Mr. X, and these are just some Mr. Fear, Mr. Sinister. No, that's all. Oh, never mind. That's all just the Misters of Marvel. So he's in a ton. I mean, he's in all the new Spider-Man book, and a bunch of new Spider-Man books. He's in Marvel Meow. He's in just a ton. And, of course, the Fantastic Four books themselves. Ultimate Fantastic Four. You're going to find Reed Richards in so many books. Probably close to, or maybe as many as Spider-Man and Hulk and some of the characters that have been around for a long, long, long time. But if you really want to go back and you want to read some of these old books that he's been in, which I'd always recommend, because, you know, to the goats, you know, Lee and Ditko, reading their stuff is really cool if you weren't into comics back then, and going back and reading about these characters and seeing how those guys did them is just very, very cool. And you can check them all out in the Marvel Unlimited app. Right now, you can go and look at those for $9.99 a month. If you can't get to your local comic store. And I'm sure you can get out and check for reprints and all that kind of stuff too. I'm sure they'll have graphic novels out there in bookstores, comic book stores, of course. If you live near one, always go and visit your local comic shop. as well. Okay, and I am still reading Fantastic Four to this day. I just read their issue of One World Under Doom, and I read the ones that are exclusive to the app recently as well, which had a pretty cool story about Mole Man. New this week, there's not too much. Now, I had a lot of books last week that I was reading, but new this week in the shop, we have Helverine, and guess who's in that? Mephisto. Mephisto is in that. And if you haven't seen Ironheart yet, it's spoiler. And I told you last week I wasn't going to spoil anything. It's been a week. Yes, we got the debut, finally, of Mephisto in the MCU. It was rumored as to who played him, and this could have been, I could have talked about this in the MCU minute, but since he's in this comic, why not? Sacha Baron Cohen was rumored to have played him a while back, and it came to fruition. So we now have Mephisto in the MCU, and I don't know if they're going to do anything with him any further than Ironheart, and I don't even know if Ironheart's going to get a sequel. I don't think so. So that may have been a one-and-done thing, but he is indeed in the MCU. So all new Venom is up to issue number 5. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 10th Anniversary, issue number 1. Spider-Boy, issue number 18. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue number 7. X-Men, issue number 14. There's a brand new Daredevil story. Now this I will read, called Cold Day in Hell, and that's issue number 1. So if you want to start off with something, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, issue number 1. Psylocke, issue number 60. Immortal Thor, issue number 22. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, issue number 32. Ironheart has a brand new one as well. Bad Chemistry, it's called, issue number 1. If you want to do some reading about Ironheart and watch the series, it was very good. I enjoyed it. Concert of Champions, I'd imagine Dazzler is in that. And Luna Snow, of course, yes. That is issue number 1. Ultimate X-Men is up to issue number 14. West Coast Avengers is issue number 6. And then the rest of them are the ones that are exclusive to the app. So not a big week in comics, but there are some out there that I will definitely read. All right, guys, we are just about heading into the finish here. And we're going to go to the MCU part of the thing and see what kind of news we got for the MCU. And this one says, this from Superhero Hype, Wonder Man might be the lead into MCU's X-Men Mutant Saga. And it could be the project that kicks off the Mutant Saga. Following the release of some new Wonder Man footage, there's much talk and excitement about the new Disney Plus show arriving in December that stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Not too much is known about the plot, which inevitably means fans are running rampant with speculation. Wonder Man and Hank McCoy have a close relationship with one another. They are both Avengers teammates at one point. However, the dynamic between the two of them quickly won over fans. They have proceeded to co-star in a number of series and runs over the years. We know that an X-Men movie is in the works from Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier. We likely won't know how much more about that project or who will star in it until after Avengers Doomsday and Secret War, but we do know it's coming. We also know the number of X-Men characters will star in Doomsday, including Kelsey Grammer's Beast, who briefly appeared at the end of the Marvels. Whether or not he continued to reprise that role after Doomsday remains to be seen, but Wonder Man could be the gap that bridges the X-Men world with the rest of the MCU. So there you go. Maybe that will happen. Let's see what this one is. This might be a spoiler, so I don't know if I want to do this one, but let's see. One of the biggest deaths for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars just became impossible after a huge MCU update. The upcoming Avengers movies will not be able to use a major death that had been teased by Marvel Cinematic Universe star. Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are expected to feature characters from all of the MCU and the multiverse at large. That was confirmed by how the rest of the cast of Avengers Doomsday even includes players from Fox's original X-Men. That opens the door for major MCU characters to be joined by some supporting players from Marvel's many movie franchises, with the debut of Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom being the main aspect of Avengers Doomsday's story. The villain should kill at least one hero, putting him as a Thanos-level threat. However, one MCU's character's death can likely be ruled out. Michael Douglas appeared in all 3 Ant-Man movies as the original bearer of the mantle of the MCU, Hank Pym. I was afraid Hank would have been killed by Kang the Conqueror due to the villain's thirst for revenge against Janet Van Dyne. However, Kang is no longer in the MCU. Still, Hank Pym's fate seems sealed for the Avengers movies. That is due to how Michael Douglas wants Hank Pym to die. Asked whether he would return after Ant-Man and the Wasp for another movie, the Marvel actor revealed that he would do so if his character were to die. That death could have been impactful in Avengers Doomsday or in Secret Wars. Okay, so MCU fans lose it as Avengers Doomsday first official footage is released. Is in the midst of filming, so it's unlikely we're going to receive a trailer anytime soon, especially as the film isn't set to launch until December of 2026. We've already had our first glimpse at the film that came courtesy of Thunderbolts. If you did see it, okay, that's because people are watching, and the Thunderbolts now, I guess, is able to be viewed on pay-per-view and stuff like that now. So that's just that. Fantastic Four, Paul Walter Hauser's MCU villain revealed gets first look. Paul Walter Hauser has a role in Fantastic Four First Steps. What that role is, however, has been kept secret. Now, the identity of which Marvel Cinematic Universe villain he's playing has been revealed in the movie's tie-in comic. Oh, there's a tie-in book. There's a tie-in book. Well, I'm probably not going to give this away. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil that. Not going to give that away, folks. That's could be a major spoiler, so not going to give that one away. But yeah, he is indeed in the movie, and nobody knows really who he's playing just yet. So I'm not going to spoil that for anybody. Marvel, the MCU just quietly recreated one of Fantastic Four's greatest covers without fans noticing. This is from Screen Rant. Less than a month until the Fantastic Four, Marvel Studios released a video on YouTube that gives fans a special look at the upcoming film. Around 20 seconds in, a hand is shown holding an issue of Fantastic Four First Family #1 up to the camera. The comic is taken off camera, and behind it, the stars of Fantastic Four First Steps who are recreating the cover. Right down to Johnny Storm giving Reed Richards bunny ears. Chris Weston noted the tribute and even pointed it out on Blue Sky, jokingly wondering if it was worth a couple of free tickets. So it's just a tribute for a comic book cover. A new press release for the Fantastic Four now lists John Malkovich as part of the cast. So nobody really knew what was going on with him, because he was mentioned in the cast, but no one really knew what was happening with him. But now he is officially listed as part of that cast. All right, well, look, that is going to do it. There you go. That is some of the MCU news minus spoilers. And again, I'm sorry that I missed the call-in section. But again, like I said, I'm only going to do that if I get questions from folks, which I hope I do in the future. Please send me those questions. I know a lot of people might have done it thinking that they could get a gold pass. If I find out a way to do that, I can do that for you. Or, if they find a way how to make that happen in the shop again. But I know that Glazer's been having some issues giving away season passes and stuff like that. So, and you know what? In fact, I probably won't do a gold pass. I'm not too much into gold right now. And you may all know why. But instead of that, maybe what I'll do is I'll do a season pass or two giveaway for people who are free to play and stuff like that. So maybe I'll do that on future things. If I could find a way how to make that work in the shop. Maybe they will improve that as time goes on. But yeah, send me those questions, please, about anything. Comic books, movies, it doesn't matter. DC, Marvel, doesn't matter. Independent stuff, doesn't matter. Films, movies, horror stuff, music, whatever the case might be, send me those questions. I would shout you out and love to use them on the show in the future. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for this episode. I'm excited to go see Superman, and I'm going to be leaving just after this is done. I go up, grab something to eat up by the theater, and then I'm going to go in and see the movie. So, yeah. So have a great week in Snap, guys. Enjoy the Fantastic Four season. I know there are going to be a lot of players who are upset. I get it. I totally understand that. That's why I ranked that card last. Because it is indeed behind a paywall. But just know this, I don't think it's a great card. I don't think that's going to be a lot of consolation for you, but I don't think it's a great card. I ranked it last for a reason because, it's okay, but I don't think it's a great card. So I don't think anybody's going to be missing it. Hopefully it will be in packs at some point. I don't know. But I do completely understand the anger behind it. And the same thing with Kid Omega, but unfortunately, this does seem like it's going to be the way of the future, and it's going to be the way that Snap is going to go, which sucks. So, but I'm not going to spend time on that. I don't want to get myself into a downer before I go see Superman. So have a great one, guys. Enjoy your week in Snap. Please stay safe. Be kind to one another always, and go see Superman. And I am going to release an emergency pod, probably sometime tomorrow, maybe after work when I get home, about Superman with non-spoiler review of the film. It does come out this week. It comes out Friday, so go see it. It looks like it's going to be a banger, and I will let you know on a podcast that I will release at some point tomorrow. So have a great rest of your week. Please be kind to one another, like I said. Stay safe, and hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ, heading out to Superman, signing off.